this is an overview. What is point of sale? How does it work? What are the things I need to watch out for? So guys, point of sale is exactly what it says. It's a point of sale system. It integrates with your Sage Pastel accounting, and there are specific ways that you need to set up point of sale. One of the first things that you would need to do is you would need to go to Edit, Customer Accounts. Now guys, I'm using a totally blank company, but here you would need to set up what we call a cash sales account. Even if most of your customers are going to, for example, be buying on account, that's how you guys are going to do things, you still need a cash sales account or you will not be able to set up your point of sale. So for example, you're going to give it a code or a name or whatever works for you, and you can give it a description. Now guys, just because you call a cash sales account does not mean this is a cash sales account. You will see over here, you need to tick this option, cash sales account for Pastel, to see it as a cash sales account. And then guys, we advise that you go to processing and double check your processing. Is everything okay? And then go to terms. So obviously on processing, there is no real point to set up emailing and stuff because this is a cash sales account. So it's an account that you're going to use for people who just come in and don't have an actual account with you. You can also check your terms. Guys, generally you can leave this as monthly and current. It's not a big deal because it's a cash sales account. You should constantly be receiving the money at the time of sale. But guys, back on processing, which is the option I was looking for, sorry for jumping backwards and forwards, what this account should be is a balance forward account. So a lot of times we'll see people have set this up because the majority of their customers are open item. So they want to match payments to the invoices. Guys, for a cash sales account, please don't do that. Most people forget that they've done this, so they actually don't match those payments to the invoices. Then when they check the age analysis, it's totally incorrect. They've got credits and debits everywhere. And they're like, okay, what do I do? The quick way to fix that is to obviously convert this account to a balance forward account. But when you create this account, make sure it is a balance forward account. If you already have your point of sale set up and yours is open item, I'm just going to quickly save that. Guys, you can go to change and you can do the open item balance forward conversion. And basically all that you're going to do is you're going to convert this from open item to balance forward. If you're not 100% sure how this works, please go to sagekb.com and actually type in open item balance forward conversion, something along those lines, and read the article. It will tell you what to do because you can convert both ways, but I would advise very strongly that your cash sales account is a balance forward account. You don't want to have to be sitting there matching everything because you're going to have hundreds, if not thousands, of transactions against this account. So once you've done that, we're going to open up our point of sale. Now you would have installed your point of sale. You would have either installed it as SQL or as Access. So guys, in my case, I installed it as Access, and it's already gone into my company. Should you get a message that someone's already logged in, guys, that would mean that you would need to close your Pastel in order to use a point of sale, or you would need to go in and change the option of whether it uses one set of numbers or different set of numbers per user. Now that is totally up to you. Generally, if you are using point of sale, again, we would advise that you set up different numbers per user. It just makes it easier for you to see which user processed what. And then a tip is use the name and surname. So for example, in my case, JB, and then I would have a number, or JI for Joanne invoices. So you can go set that up in Pastel. You can also then go to setup and options. So guys, this is in point of sale where you're going to set up your options, and you've got to make sure that all of your options are set up. Generally, we start with other. Now guys, right at the top, if you want to use a slip printer, you're going to need to tick the option use Pastel layout for slip printing. If you want to use your normal layout that you print when you do invoices in Pastel, you untick this option. Then here you can also tick to allocate projects on customer documents if you do use projects, otherwise you can untick this. And then guys, you've got your rounding settings, which you can set up. This is specific for point of sale. Your special barcode settings. Guys, again, we've got a really nice document if you're not sure how that works. And then you can tick enable quick scanning on barcodes. Guys, what that means is as you scan the barcode, it's going to enter it and go to the next line. So if you have like 5 of the same thing, you just keep scanning. It should add them up. But we have had people before go, it's not letting me enter the quantity. If you don't want to have to scan every single item and have it add up, then do not tick that option. And if you have a touch screen, you can tick the touch screen option, and then you're going to have to put in your options. So those are just those options. Then guys, this has to be set up per user. You can obviously copy 2 users, so you can set up your first user who should be the supervisor. And just so you know, the supervisor in point of sale does not need to be the same person who is the supervisor in Pastel. 9 out of 10 times it is, but it doesn't have to be. And these are the options here, but you do have to have at least 1 point of sale supervisor. You can then copy to a different user and just change the few options you need to. So firstly here, you're going to have to select your cash sales account. Then you're going to select your default cash in and out. Now you can either go and create this, or for example, I'm going to use other income, should have. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to check where I've put that. Generally, I set it to other income. If I do, I may not actually have this set up because normally this is done in the demo company. And if you don't see an account that you're happy with, what you can do is you can just cancel and go back into your Pastel. Alternatively, you can come in here. You can, for example, select sundry income. I normally create a point of sale in and out. I set it to other income, and then I would set that as my account. So you can do that. You can select an account that you're comfortable with. And then your point of sale entry type. Guys, you should have an entry type, especially if you use the setup assistant. You should have a point of sale journal already created. If you decided to set up your company totally on your own, please go make sure that you've created that entry type and that it's created correctly. If you use the setup assistant like we advise you should, it should be there. And the point of sale next reference. So guys, this is the reference that you want to use. Now again, in order to know which users processed what, we advise, for example, like you do this. So if in my case, my initials and then all the way to 1. If we had a different person, let's say we have Tandiwe, then we would have, for example, TM and then all the way and just 1. So that if I pull a report and I'm not sure what the transaction was, I'll know, oh, that was Joanne, or that was Tandiwe, or that was Mark, or whoever. I'll be able to know who processed what. So we advise that you do that. You don't have to. It's entirely up to you. The reason I use initials is because you may have more than 1 J, or you may have more than 1 M. Guys, I do see that we are getting a couple of questions. Okay, I'm just, guys, normally this is around people saying that the screen is freezing. Again, guys, if your screen freezes, and I'm just quickly typing this. Please press F5. That should assist. If that doesn't assist, please log in and log out again. Guys, I just do need to double check if some people could just respond to me. Has my screen frozen for the rest of you? Because I do this when I see those messages coming through, because I need to make sure the issue isn't on my side. If you can just use the question icon and just say, hi, can still hear you, screen fine, I know I can continue. Please just let me know. Before I continue, if you could just reply either yes to you can hear me, my screen is fine, that would be great. Okay, perfect. Sorry guys, I just do need to make sure it's not on my side. It doesn't mean if it happens, it's always on your side. It could be mine, which means I just unshare and reshare my side. But it seems like people are okay and they are seeing me. So that's great. I'm going to continue then. So it's totally up to you what you use. It's just a tip that it might make it easier for you to see what's happening. Then guys, your till float, this is the float that you have in your till. So you might, for example, always have 500 Rand in your till or 250. And then if you want that reallocated every time you cash up, you need to tick that option. So what will happen is you will do your cash up and it will automatically say there's 500 in the till again, or 250 or 1,000 or whatever you keep in the till as change. Then guys, your VAT trigger amount. What will happen is if you put in a VAT trigger amount, for example, 2,500, whether it is a cash sale or it is on account, if it goes over 2,500, it's going to pop up a screen and it's going to ask you for the tax number, for the details like their name and their address and all of that information, because it's a trigger and that's what you need that information for. So you need to put in your VAT trigger amount, up to you. And then what do you want the default screen to default to? Normally it is sales. And then you need to decide here, are you going to be on account or cash? So if you mostly are going to be selling to the cash sales account, you would say cash. If most of your customers have accounts, they have to have accounts, you would say on account, because that's what you're going to be using most. Then you can choose to update point of sale payments in detail, guys. I personally tick this because I do like as much information as possible to know, okay, this is what happened, this is where it happened, this is the deal. If you don't tick this, you're not going to get that information, and should you need to investigate, it's going to be a lot harder. So I say rather have more than less. It's very much like the contra and detail and the entry types. I advise ticking that, especially for cash books, because it makes it easier. Yes, your reports are lengthier. Yes, at times having to actually go through and find stuff, especially, for example, bank recon out of balance, can be tricky. But at the same time, not having enough information can be almost worse, because then you don't know where it's wrong, why it's wrong, how it's wrong. Yes, there are other reports you can pull, but I'm someone who kind of likes a lot of info. If you don't need to tick it. There are other reports you can pull to find out what's wrong. I just like having it ticked. Can receive money. That means that if money comes in, you can in fact press a button and receive that money. If you don't tick that option, you can't do it. This is to print receipts. So do you want to print receipts when the cash comes in? So do you want a receipt that goes, hey, I actually got this money, it came in, I need to actually have a receipt for it or not. And then obviously the point of sale supervisor. Now guys, when you tick this option, there are settings for the point of sale supervisor. So you can still restrict the point of sale supervisor even though they are a supervisor. Just bearing in mind that if you restrict them, there are certain things they won't be able to do. So basically it's can approve cash ups, can approve returns, can approve selling price changes, can approve maximum discounts, can access setup options, can approve negative quantities. Guys, you really don't want to do that, but You can have someone who can approve cash out, can approve minimum GP percentage overrides, and can view the dashboard. Now, I advise so for example, you may have managers and you're like, oh, should I make them supervisors? Shouldn't I make them supervisors? But then you can be the overall supervisor. You can do all of this. And for example, you can say, look, they can only do some of these things. You know, you don't want them to be able to do certain things. They would need to phone you, or they would need to get hold of you and say, hey, we're doing this. Are you cool with this? So you can have more than one supervisor, and you can restrict what they can do. Then guys, from here, you need to go back to where it says cash sale and on account, because these are specific to those two options. And a lot of times people will do this setup and then they're like, okay, cool, I'm done. And they totally forget that they need to actually come here. So firstly, you need to click on the screen enabling settings. Now, what this means is that these are the fields that you want to show, and you would choose your different options here. So you would choose quotations, sales orders, invoices, credit notes. And from here, you would then go, okay, this is what I want to see, obviously based on your add-on modules. So can they place documents on hold, yes or no? 1 tick is they can do it. 2 ticks is yes, but I'm going to have to enter a password to allow them to do it. So it's the supervisor's password is needed to enable it. And no ticks is no. So like if I don't want them to ever change the quantity, I'd have no ticks. If I want the supervisor to agree to it, I'd have that. But obviously, guys, you're not only going to sell one item all the time. So look at the things that make sense. So like, for example, discount. You might not want your cashiers to be able to just willy-nilly go, yeah, I'm going to give a discount. So there you might want a supervisor password is needed for me to approve the discount. And you just need to tick all the different things, like delete line. Guys, if you can't delete a line, so we've had this before where someone's like, I can't delete the line, I don't know why, I'm pressing Control D, I'm doing the best I can. Come and double check this, because it might be that either you've got 2, or you've got none. Deleting a line, again, maybe you do want supervisor to be able to delete a line if something happens, but just double check your options as with your cash, check, card, EFT, voucher, and on account. Again, guys, overall discount is up here. You might want 2 in there. But here you'll see units, like they can't enter a unit, nor can they change the tax type. That might be something you don't want someone to be able to do, in which case you wouldn't tick those options. And then guys, the on account, this is to switch from cash sales to on account. So once you've done this one, double check that you've done it for all of your documents. You can do this, copy to all documents, and then go and make a couple of changes if there are things say on a quote you don't want them to be able to do, or so you can change it around again. But make sure you do it for all of them, because at this point I've only done it for the sales. I haven't gone into anything else. So that's also something to bear in mind. If you do this once and you don't say copy to all documents, or you don't physically go to the next one, guys, it's not gonna actually do anything to those specific things. So if someone does do a quote, they might be like, hey, I can do this on the invoice, but I can't do this on the quote. And it's because you didn't set it up. So you need to check that. Then you're going to click on save. You can here, like, require supervisor password when canceling invoices. Sometimes you delete all the lines and then it cancels that invoice. Again, that might be something that you want to check. Okay, guys, someone's saying document not open. I'm sorry, I'm not understanding. Are you guys not seeing the same screens I'm seeing? Because it should be showing you where you can tick and untick things. I see some people are having a major freezing issue as well. Sorry about that, guys. That could be your network. This is being recorded, and when you get your notification for thanking you for joining my session, it will give you the recording as well, which you should be able to watch. So guys, please just let me know what document not open means. I'm hoping you can all see my screen where you've got a tick and untick. Guys, basically you do that, you click on close, save, you can say yes again if you didn't. Now this is obviously cash sale. Again guys, here it's going to ask you about the slip printing. When do you want it to print a slip or an invoice for? You may want to tick all, you may want to just say cash sales, totally up to you. You can also ask it to ask before printing. So to save paper, you may say, I want to do that, but ask me, because you may, like I've had people, hi, do you want to slip with that? And I'm like, no thanks, I'm good. You know, why waste the paper then and throw it away? You might as well then decline it. So you can also say, ask me before you print, and you can tick all of them and then say no if you don't want to. Then you've got your salesman options. So guys, again, for your cashiers, if they're making sales, you can tick that they need to enter a salesperson before every transaction so that isn't missed, because then you'll have people who are very upset. Okay guys, apparently refreshing the screen isn't helping, so I'm just gonna unshare mine and reshare mine. Okay, so guys, I unshared and reshared my screen. Please advise if that worked. Someone said that the screen keeps freezing and a refresh doesn't help. Guys, if it's not on my side, me unsharing and resharing won't help either, in which case you need to log out and log back in. That is the other option, or you are having network issues. So again, guys, unfortunately, I'm going to have to ask. Guys, can everyone else see my screen? Can you all hear me? Is everything okay? My network seems pretty stable, but I could be wrong. So guys, please use the question icon and just let me know, yeah, I'm okay. Yes, I can see your screen. If I don't get an answer anytime soon, I'm gonna have to just see what else I can do, because it's definitely my side. Okay, it seems to have come right. I'm hoping. Okay guys, I'm going to continue. I'll keep looking at whether you're having issues or not, like I do. If I don't see a few more, yes, I can see stuff, then guys, I may have to just disconnect and reconnect myself. So please just say yes, or can see your screen, can hear you, so that I know what's happening. Okay, so guys, with the salesman codes, sometimes people forget to enter the sales codes. So what you need to do in that instance is you would need to actually basically tick the option to enter the salesman before each transaction. Okay, no, I don't think that this is working. Guys, it seems like quite a few people are having instability. I don't think it's from my side because I'm running an app that kind of shows me how stable my network is. And on my side, it's pretty stable. So I'll keep monitoring it. To those of you that are having an issue, the recording will be sent to you. I'm so sorry. So guys, make sure you set up both cash sale on account. Obviously you have to set up other or it's not going to work. And then guys, we've got our update. So our update is basically your cash control or your cash account. So when it updates, where's it updating to? Generally, you can have different cash books if you like. So for example, I've got F&B and I've got Standard Bank. So I can go, you know, my cash control, I want to be F&B, but my checks must go to Standard. And that's basically where it's going to update that money to, those payments to. So you can have a card control, a voucher control, and an EFT control. They can absolutely all be the same account. If you only have one bank account, that's what you're going to put here. But if you have multiples or you want to set up multiples to keep these transactions separate and to be able to go in and double check them, guys, you can do that too. These are your bank accounts though, guys. It's a cash book account. This isn't a normal GL account that you just go and set up. This is for the actual payments. So you can have, for example, you can go set up cash books and call them cash, check, credit card, voucher, EFT, and then when you select that option when processing, that's where it'll post the payment to. You can then try to reconcile that to your actual bank. That is one way of doing this. It's entirely up to you how you want to do it though. And then guys, your ports, this is if you're using a cash draw or a poll display. Now guys, I can't tell you what these should be. This should be the manufacturer. They should give you these settings and you should be able to set that up based on those settings. So if you're unsure what they are, get hold of your manufacturer. They should be able to tell you whether it's parallel, USB serial, what the port number is, the character to send, the baud rate, the data bits, the stop bits, and the parity. They need to tell you that. There are too many for us to know. That is the manufacturer's responsibility. And then guys, I'm not going into physical printing because I really don't know what that is. To be honest, I did not actually look into that for this specific webinar. It's more an overview. So I apologize, I can't go through that tab, but very few people actually use it. We do have some people, and I'm happy to set up a separate webinar if you need me to, specifically to explain it. But guys, I would need to do a lot of prep for that because it's not something I'm very familiar with, because it's not very often used. So basically most people set up these 4 tabs. Normally it's a plug and play with regards to the crash draw or the poll display, and 9 out of 10 times, guys, it does work flawlessly. If it's not, get hold of the manufacturer. If you're still having issues, we will assist where we can. But these are the ones that you absolutely need to set up. And guys, please don't forget to actually go into the enabled settings. A lot of times when people phone in when they can't do stuff, it's because the enabled settings haven't been set up, or the ticks haven't been done correctly. So set your stuff up correctly, and once you're done, you can click on close. Now guys, something to be aware of, especially with point of sale, is that point of sale uses your system date. It will double check in Pastel whether your system date falls within the current financial year. If it doesn't fall in the current financial year on Pastel, you'll get a message saying the date is outside of the financial year, you cannot process. That normally happens around year end, guys. You can either create a 30th period or you need to run the year end, but it uses system date. So at times, guys, you may find you're actually already in April, you get that horrible message, you're like, what do? I can't increase this anymore. You change your system date back to March, you run your year end, and then you fix your system date. That's basically what you do. You do have to run the reset utility to reset last used date. But guys, either 13th period or you run the year end, there are ways around that specific issue. We have YouTube videos on that issue, as well as our documents on the KB. So remember our YouTube channel, guys. We did a lot of videos on point of sale and year end. Please go check those out, even ones on SQL. Then guys, normally from here, once you've actually completed and you've set up your point of sale, you'll then be able to go to process point of sale, or if you're a normal user, it will open on the default screen that you set up. So here you can see my default screen is sales and it's cash sale. If I want to go on account, I need to tick my on account here, and then I would need to select my user. And then guys, you just process. You enter your code or you scan your barcode, you enter your quantity description, and it is as per normal. To complete a transaction, you'll enter however much the person is paying in one of your fields, and then you can select next. If you select update, it's going to automatically update that transaction to your Pastel. So you can either select update or next. At the end of the day, sorry guys, close that, yes. At the end of the day, you're going to do your cash up. So the user will do a cash up, and then you'll do your supervisor cash up. So guys, here you can see I already have my 500, which is my float. I will count the money. I will enter my cash, my checks, my credit cards. What I want to see is no variance. If you have a variance, obviously that's where you need to check. Okay, why do I have a variance? What happened? That's where you know if someone sadly is stealing from you. And then you can finalize the cash up. Guys, once you finalize the cash up, I strongly advise, even if you did say update, that you go update all documents, click on. If it asks you for a backup path, what I normally select is I actually select the drive that I'm processing on, the Pastel I'm using. In my case, I'm using partner 19, so it's Pastel 19 and the company folder, and I say OK. Click on OK, start. It's going to make a backup, and then it's going to update all. So guys, I need a very quick break. I'm sorry, I quickly just need a 30-second break. 1, to allow you to write your questions through to me. 2, I quickly just need to go and double check something, and I will be back in 30 seconds. So please send your questions through if you have any. And guys, once I've checked those questions, I have a couple of tips if you are running Access that I'm going to run through. Okay, so guys, I'm just looking at are there any questions? Okay, so guys, I don't see any questions, just a lot of the screen keeps freezing and my sound keeps going. So guys, hopefully I'm back. And hopefully the majority of you can hear me. Sorry about the shorter interval. There was just a little emergency that I had, which is now resolved. Okay, so guys, something else to bear in mind is that, especially if you're running Access, sometimes you can get certain errors. Normally it is a 3709, or it'll tell you can't open the company and stuff. And there are ways that you can actually resolve that. One of those ways is to compact the database. Now you would need, so you can see here it says compact, always say yes if you're closing point of sale. As you can see, I've got my screen on telling me how many of you are going to come. But then guys, from here, if for example you try to open a company, it's not opening, it's normally something to do with the documents.mdb. So firstly, you'd need to navigate to the company folder. I do strongly advise doing this on the server, but if you have to do it on a workstation, it's not a train smash. It's not like running year-end on a workstation where you can really corrupt your data. It is okay, but you would need Access installed on the machine that you are doing this on. In this case, we'd go into the company and we would look for our documents, MDB. Now guys, what you're going to do is you're going to open this. So this will only open if you have access. If you don't have access, it's going to ask you, what do you want to open this with? Now guys, here you can see all of the tables. Please don't play in this. But if you go to database tools, you'll see compact and repair the database. And you can select that option if you are getting, for example, that 3709 or, you know, one of those weird errors that happen, but only for Access. Guys, for SQL, you'll get very different errors. I have a document on that we are working on that is going to go onto the KB. So a lot of the errors that you get, go and look on the KB, you will find that SQL troubleshooting, and hopefully that'll help you. This is for Access. You compact and repair the database, close, and guys, hopefully you can go in. Because a lot of the time, if you get those errors and you repair and compact the database and it doesn't work, your only other option is either restore a backup before you got the error, or delete the document.mdb file and start from scratch. And scratch means setting it all up again, and any transactions that hadn't been written to your Pastel will now be missing. You also will not be able to reprint any transactions in point of sale. So that's just a little tip with regards to Access. Otherwise, guys, that is basically it for this overview. That is point of sale. It is basically how it works. And if any of you have any questions, please let me know. Guys, I'm pretty sure that I did do a recording on the SQL. If you would like that, let me know. I will go get it for you. I will send you the link so that you can watch it. And as I said, we are in the process of writing the article to the KB. It took a little bit longer than we thought. We just need to check the steps, but that hopefully will be up in the next couple of weeks. And if you have errors on point of sale SQL, go and check that. In the meantime, if you do need assistance, guys, please remember that you need to email support@sage.com for any troubleshooting that you need. If you need anything with regards to the webinars, or you need to ask me for a video or documentation that maybe isn't on the KB yet that I can share with you, then you may email me directly, joanne.barnard@sage.com. I will facilitate that for you. But guys, any support queries that you need, please do not email me directly. I myself will send them through to support, as I'm not always able to assist you immediately. So please use rather supportsa@sage.com for any errors you may get, any solutions you may need. View the KB, go to Sage City, supportsa@sage.com, or phone support. Anything to do with these webinars, joanne.barnard@sage.com. Ask me what you need from the webinars. Happy to assist. Guys, some common things that people have asked me with regards to the webinars is, hey Joe, I signed up for this webinar. For example, let's say this one. I'm interested in the next one, but I didn't get a reminder about it. Guys, you have to sign up for each and every topic webinar. If you are someone who attended Q&A last year, you will know that you were automatically signed up for every single day. And a lot of people didn't like that. They were like, hey, I'd rather just come in when I want to. So for these topic webinars, I was like, not everyone wants to come to every single webinar. You may not be interested in every webinar. So I made them individual. If you want to attend them, you need to go to the registration page. It will always be the same link, but you've got to select the date and then register for that specific date. You will then receive the reminders and afterwards the recordings, etc., for that specific topic. Now guys, our next topic is going to happen in 2 weeks' time, and it is everything about inventory. So if any of you know my YouTube channel, you will know that there is already a webinar on my YouTube channel, or Sage's YouTube channel rather, for Sage 50C and everything about inventory. Guys, it is basically that webinar. Obviously, if you've watched that and you have questions that weren't answered, then this is your moment to come in and be like, hey, I've actually got this question. But I'm basically running that webinar. So it's how to set up inventory, what inventory is, what the reports are, what you use the reports for, what add-on modules you have for inventory, how those reports work. And guys, to be honest, that is at least an hour. So we will be busy from 10 to 11 at the latest, probably 11:30. So it's quite a hectic webinar. There's a lot of info to go through, but it's a really, really nice webinar to attend, since a lot of people use inventory, and sadly a lot of the time when I do get queries about inventory, a lot of people's inventory wasn't set up correctly, and it was just because they didn't know that, oh, actually I shouldn't do that, I thought I could. I didn't realize that caused issues. So I try to educate through that. Otherwise, I don't see any other questions, guys. If you do have any questions, please use the question icon. I will be happy to answer that. To those of you that have joined me today, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you found this informative. And yeah, guys, just have an awesome day further. And hopefully I will see you next time. If you don't have any questions, you're welcome to log out. For those of you that do still have questions, use that question icon. I will be here for a little bit longer. Otherwise, have an amazing day, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. Ciao, ciao for now.